Thanks, Danny, for the introduction. So like you said, my name is Rachel. I'm a senior here at Adams State, and I'm majoring in mass communications and elementary education. So the project that I have for you today is 2 videos that I created in courses that I took here, and those are digital media production and intro to animation, and I took those in the fall and over the summer. So we'll get started, and the first question I have for you guys is, do you believe in Bigfoot or Sasquatch? So this is a very polarizing idea in society today. Some people believe that Bigfoot is just a hoax, or that he's a legend that we talk about and just passed down, but that actual Bigfoot sightings are really misinterpretations of other creatures that exist out in the world. But there is a group of people that firmly believes that Bigfoot exists, that he's walking out in the forest right now, and that you can actually go and find him. And so because of this, there's a TV show called Finding Bigfoot, and it airs on Animal Planet. And the idea of this show is they follow a team of researchers who is determined to prove that Bigfoot exists. So they go all across the world tracking down evidence of Bigfoot and pretty much trying to prove to people that he is really out there. So for my project, I sat down with my brother Jake and our friend Cole, and we decided to create our own version of this TV show. So we created Finding Bigfoot, the Alamosa edition, and we followed the formula laid out by the TV show on Animal Planet to create our own video. So what they do is they have an introduction to their specific episode. It tells you the location that they're going to, and it kind of hooks people in to watch the whole episode. And then they'll have an opening title sequence where they introduce you to the characters and just kind of the idea of the show, and that's the same in every episode. And then they'll do 2 things during the episode, and one of those is they have a local eyewitness or expert that they go and talk to. So they go and find someone in that location that has had an encounter with Bigfoot. So it might be that Bigfoot ran in front of their car, or they were out camping and Bigfoot woke them up. And they tell these stories to the investigators, who then use that kind of as a reason that they're there investigating for Bigfoot. And then they go out and they conduct night investigations, where they go out into the woods in the middle of the night and film themselves walking around trying to find Bigfoot. So they'll do various things trying to lure Bigfoot in so they can catch a sighting and have some evidence. They'll do Sasquatch calls or knocks, just things that they think might attract a Bigfoot. So I will show you a clip from the video that I created. So here is the beginning of the video.
On this episode of Finding Bigfoot, the team travels to the heart of the San Luis Valley in southern Colorado. Recent evidence suggests that this small Colorado town has been hiding a big secret. The team sets up camp, hoping to catch some squatchy activity. They hold a night investigation and capture some of their most promising evidence yet.
So, we're out here pretty far from civilization. Finding some squash tonight. We're going home off a squat. That damn there was a squash. I swear. Watching these woods.
So what you just saw was the intro to the video, and it kind of introduces that they're in Alamosa and what they're searching for. And then I'm going to fast forward here and get you kind of more towards the middle of the video, where they've talked to an eyewitness named Delilah, and she told them this story of an encounter that she had with Bigfoot in Alamosa. So now they've gone out into the woods trying to track down this Bigfoot. So they are in the middle of their night investigation.
Look at that. That could have my hand. I've been reading up on the Alamosa squatch. It's got a specific sound to it that's different than all the rest of the squatches out there.
He's almost a yellow. Heaton, Tom, call.
Yeah, just go ahead and give a call. This is the Alamosa squatch. It's kind of a specific squatch call, but Clint here is kind of, master caller, so I'm going to show you just what just what a squatch call's like. Now I know it's a squatch call. Yeah.
Right here.
Going up a little farther north. That's Alpha's
Squatch call.
So that's just a little bit of the video that we made together. And how we did it was we had 3 people in our cast. And so it's Billy, Bob, and Clint, which you just saw in the video. And they are our 2 Bigfoot experts, and they go around trying to find Bigfoot. And then this here is Delilah, and she is their eyewitness account that they go and talk to her, and she tells them the story. So luckily I had 3 people who were very willing to go out and act like they saw Bigfoot. And what we did was we went out 2 nights over the fall, and we went to the disc golf course outside of town a little ways. We went out there in the middle of the night and pretty much just filmed for a couple hours, took all of that footage back, and then I edited it together to create the final project. And when we started this, we knew that we wanted to create something like the TV show that we had seen on Animal Planet. We wanted to emulate what they had done. So we had that big idea, and we knew a couple main points that we wanted to hit along the way, but we didn't really sit down and write a script. We just went out, turned on the cameras, and started filming. So I let Jake and Cole, the 2 actors, just kind of play off of each other. And I did that because it feels more like the real show that you could see on TV, because they don't script anything that they do. They just go out and play off of each other and whatever happens while they're out running through the woods. So I let these 2 guys just kind of go out and do whatever it was that came to mind, and then I put it all together into a complete story. One of our big challenges that we had along the way was that a lot of this video was shot at night, and we don't have great cameras for shooting at night. So what we had to do was, as you can see in the picture, they're both wearing lights on headbands. So they had that lit up, and then we brought a couple flashlights so that we could light their faces and their bodies so you could see the action that was happening in the pitch black woods. And that also got kind of interesting because the 3 of us were out there alone in the middle of nowhere, and we couldn't really see what was around us. So we were hoping that there wasn't really a Bigfoot out there that was going to come and attack us or anything. So we filmed this on 2 different cameras. We filmed it on the Canon Rebel T3i, and we used a 28 to 135 millimeter lens. And then we also filmed some of the footage on a GoPro. And both of these have internal audio, and so we used the audio from those 2 cameras, and it seemed to work pretty well for the job that we were trying to do. Then the audio voiceover that you heard at the beginning clip, I just recorded that on my iPhone, and so it's not the best equipment, but it got the job done. And then I took all of the footage and I put it into Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the video editing software created by Adobe. It's part of their creative suite, which includes things like InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator. And so how it works is this bottom part right here is your timeline. And so it shows you all of the videos and audio that you have in play. You put in everything that you want to use, you put it in the order that you need, and you can layer audio on top of each other, pretty much just to create whatever your vision is. And then up here in this top left corner, that's your preview window, so you can watch all of the videos that you've created before you put them into your final project. And then over here is kind of just like your output. This is what your final project would look like when you took it out of the program and showed it to someone like I just showed it to you. And so you'll see down here in the corner, they've got their little like Discovery Channel logo. And so I used that technique a lot to my benefit because you can layer things on top of your video. So I could put up the names of my characters so you could tell who was talking. And I also used it to put like time cards on each of the videos so that it made the investigation seem like it took all night. I could say that they were out there at 4 in the morning, even though we weren't out there at 4 in the morning. It makes it feel like it was a really long video and it took a lot of time. So I used that technique just to kind of manipulate my video to give the message that I wanted to do. So I'm going to skip to the next project that I did, and this is completely changing it up, no actors, no anything here. And this was for my Intro to Animation class that I took over the summer. And I actually took this with my brother Jake. So he and I did this project together. It was a collaboration. And we made a claymation. So claymation is when you just make little clay objects and you move them around little by little, taking pictures as you go, and then you string all of those pictures together and it creates a video that gives the illusion that those pieces of clay are actually alive or moving. So I will show you a little bit of our claymation that we did. And what we did was a music video.
If I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a house. I would buy you a house. And if I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, buy you furniture for your house, maybe a nice Chesterfield or an ottoman. And if I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, well, I'd buy you a K car, a nice reliant automobile. And if I had $1 million, I'd buy you. If I had $1 million, I'd build a tree fort in our yard. If I had $1 million, you could help, it wouldn't be that hard. If I had $1 million, maybe we could put a little tiny fridge in there somewhere. We could just go up there and hang it. Like open the fridge and stuff. There are already foods laid out for us, little pre-wrapped sausages and things. They have pre-wrapped sausages, they don't have pre-wrapped bacon.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn down the audio right now and just let this keep playing a little bit and tell you how we did this. So we figured in order to make the action seem believable, we needed to have 10 pictures for every second of video for the song. So every second that you're seeing is 10 pictures that we shot, and the video is 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. So by the end, we had 2,461 pictures that we photographed and strung together to make this song. And what we did was we sat down, we listened to the song, and we listened to this song so many times that now I don't really like hearing this song anymore. But we wrote down what objects they talked about and how long they talked about it for. So they talked about the fridge for this many seconds. They talked about the car for this many seconds. They talked about the fur coat for this many seconds. And then we knew how many pictures we had to shoot of that object. So if they talked about the fridge for 10 seconds and we knew we needed 10 pictures for every second, we needed 100 pictures of that fridge for our video to match up so that what they were talking about in the song was what was actually showing on the screen. And it was a pretty big challenge for us. We didn't know how hard it would be to create something like this until we actually started working on it. We had seen a couple videos on YouTube and thought, oh, it can't be that hard. And then it actually ended up taking us several hours over the course of a weekend. So we left all of this up and did it during the weekend. But I'll get out of the video and show you an example of what it looked like to create it with the pictures that I actually shot. So this, let's say this is your first picture that you shot. What you would do is you would set your camera up on a tripod so that it can't move and your characters don't jump around in awkward places. So they stay in the same spot, and then the only movement is the controlled little movements that you make, and it really creates that animation. So if this is your first one, you take this picture, then you move them a little bit, and you take, let's see, and you take the second picture. And then you'll move them a little bit more and take the third, and then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So those 10 pictures strung together equal 1 second of the video. So it was little tiny repetitive movements over and over that we used to create this. And we learned a lot from doing this. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say that I think video is a very powerful storytelling medium. You can tell all different kinds of things using video. I clearly had 2 very different examples of videos today. I had one that's very fantastical and kind of a documentary style film going out hunting for Bigfoot. And then on the flip side, I had an animation that doesn't have any actors in it, but it still tells a story, and you're creating something to go along with a text that you already have. So I think that you can use video to tell any story that you want to tell. And in relation to that, I want to say go and check out the Grizzly Video Production YouTube page, because they have a lot of great stories that people have told on their channel, a lot of people that have taken video classes like I did, and just the people working at GVP. They've been doing a really good job trying to entertain Adams State, and that's not an easy task. And the last thing I'd like to say is thank you for coming out this morning. I know 8 a.m. is pretty early, so thanks for being here. And I'd like to give a thanks to Professor Danny Ladoni for helping me through this whole process of creating all of the videos and then getting ready for this presentation. And I'd also like to thank my brother Jake, and then Cole Kelly and Michaela Schmidt for being in my Bigfoot video, and especially thank Jake for creating the animation with me and not killing me because he had to work with me for so long. So thank you for coming out this morning. Are there any questions? Yeah.
How long did it take the 2 of you to create your little clay animation, claymation?
So all in all, we probably spent about 8 hours doing it over the course of a couple days. By the end, we were very ready to be done because there's only so many movements that you can have your little person do. But yeah, it was a bigger task than we thought it was going to be, just because it's so time consuming to take that many pictures. But yeah, it took us about 8 hours. He's in class right now, so he wished he could be here, but yeah. Yeah.
So you have 2 very different sorts of
Mhm.
media here, right? You've got
Yes.
your live action, and then you've got your claymation.
Mhm.
Do you think that after going through this project, do you think that there's any particular one that, if you were to try to provide a message to the audience, you would favor one over the other? Do you think they kind of lend each other to specific themes, or?
I think you can really use either for any message that you want to say, because my claymation that we did, we just picked a song that we liked, but I think you could really do any message that you want. You just have to have that audio recorded. So I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on what you're going for and what the story is that you're trying to tell, but I think that depending on how you use it, both could be used to tell a message.
I'm still struck by all of the great little props that you included in the If I Had $1 Million. I'm watching
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, they had miniature cans of Coke, or a little fridge. Can you talk about all of the props in addition to the claymation that you had to organize?
Yeah.
Together?
So a lot of the stuff we created from clay, like the fridge was made out of clay, and we had a monkey that we made and all that kind of stuff. And we also used some Legos to build the house at the beginning. But then all of the little Coke cans and little stuff like that were actually stuff that I just had lying around that my aunt had given me over the years. She likes giving us little trinkets like that. And this was the first time I had found a real good use for that. But yeah, so they worked really well and they were the perfect size, and we were excited that we got to use that.
Is there a type of video production that you prefer, like in a future career potentially? Where do you see yourself?
I don't know. They both have very different challenges. The nice thing about the claymation one is you don't so much have to worry about timing up audio to your video. You don't have to make sure that words match people's lips moving. So that's nice in that aspect. But I also had a great time going out and shooting the Bigfoot video, just going out and messing around doing that and coming back with this footage that I felt like I could see on TV. So I think like in the future I kind of want to create more of both of the types. So I don't really have a preference for either.
Maybe the most important question of all. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Ooh, that's a tough one. See, watching the TV show kind of makes me believe because they go through all of this crazy stuff and then they'll like circle on their picture. They're like, look, that's Bigfoot. So I think like if they're that dedicated, maybe there's something out there, but I don't know. It's a hard one.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thanks.